The instrument that could not be removed. Kant's phenomena, Noumena, and the limits of cognition. The Harbor Guild owned one instrument that no apprentice was allowed to touch without supervision, a brass siding glass, older than anyone's memory of who'd made it, mounted on a swivel at the top of the watchtower. Every ship that entered the strait was charted through it, its distance, its bearing, its silhouette, and the charts that came out of that glass were famous up and down the coast for their strange, exact regularity. Every hull, whatever its true shape, resolved in the glass into a shape built from the same handful of clean lines. Every distance came out rounded to units of the same fixed measure. Every ship, whatever direction it happened to be sailing, appeared oriented along the same north-south axis in the drawing. Sorrel, the newest apprentice, found this suspicious almost immediately. Ships don't all point north, she said to the old master, Halvard, who had kept the tower for 40 years. They don't all resolve into six-sided halls either. I've stood on the dock and I looked at the Argent with my own eyes. It's nothing like six clean lines. And yet, Halvard said, every chart of it made through that glass has six clean lines. So the glass is wrong. The glass has never once claimed to show you the ship as it is apart from the glass. It only shows you the ship as it looks through the glass. Nobody has ever charted a ship any other way. There is no other way available to this tower. Sorrel decided to prove him wrong. She would chart the Ardent freehand with her bare eyes, no brass, no glass, and hand the guild a truer picture. She spent the whole afternoon at it, and when she was done, she looked at her own drawing and went quiet, because it, too, had a horizon line running through it, a horizon her eyes had supplied, not the harbor, since the Ardent itself contained no line dividing sea from sky. It had a foreground and a background, near things and far things, arranged by a rule of perspective that lived nowhere in the ship, and entirely in the way eyes organize what they take in. And without noticing she was doing it, she had drawn the ship's approach and its docking as a sequence, first this, then that, imposing an order of before and after onto a scene that in itself wasn't handed to her pre-sorted into before and after. She had supplied that too. She went back up the tower that evening and found Halvard by the sighting glass, coughing badly, worse than she'd let herself notice. I couldn't get behind it, she admitted. I tried to draw the ship without any instrument at all, and my own drawing still had a horizon in it, still had things arranged one after another. I put those there. Harbor didn't hand them to me. No, Halvard said. It never does. That's the thing about the glass, and it's the thing about the eye behind the glass, too. Neither one of them was ever built to show you a ship as it is, free of any way of showing. They were built to show you a ship as it can appear, to something built the way you're built. What the ship is, apart from all of that, apart from anyone's tower or anyone's eyes. Nobody in this guild has ever seen that, and nobody ever will, because seeing is exactly the thing that gets in the way. He died before the season turned, and the guild kept charting ships to the same brass glass, the same six clean lines, the same fixed grid, because Sorrel understood now. There had never been a version of the harbor waiting underneath it to be discovered instead. Sorrel's tower isn't really a tower. It's a dramatization of the central move in Immanuel Kant's Critique of Pure Reason, 1781, revised in 1787. The distinction between phenomena and noumena, and the argument often called Kant's Copernican revolution in philosophy that reorganized how epistemology had worked for over a century before him. Before Kant, the dominant picture in different ways in both rationalist and empiricist philosophy assumed that knowledge succeeds when the mind conforms to objects, when your idea of the ship matches the ship as it really is, out there independent of you. Kant inverts this. He proposes that objects, insofar as we can know them, must conform to the mind, specifically to the mind's built-in forms for receiving and organizing experience. This is his Copernican move, just as Copernicus explained the motion of the stars by putting the observer, not the heavens, in motion. Kant explains the possibility of knowledge by locating the structure of activity in the knower, not in the world as it is in itself. For Kant, all human cognition passes through two layers of built-in structure. First, the forms of intuition, space and time, which aren't things we discover out in the world, but the mind's own necessary way of receiving any sensory data at all. Nothing can appear to us except as spatially and temporally arranged, the way nothing can appear in Sorrell's drawing without a horizon and a sequence. Second, the categories of the understanding. Concepts like causality, substance, unity, plurality, which the mind supplies in order to turn raw sensation into a coherent, connected experience of objects, the way the glass supplies the same six clean lines to every hull. Kant calls the world as it is organized by these forms and categories the world of phenomena. The world as it appears to a mind built like ours, behind it, forever unreachable, sits the noumenon, or the thing in itself, the ship, apart from any tower, any glass, any eye. We can coherently think the concept of the thing in itself, Kant argues, but we can never have knowledge of it, because knowledge requires exactly the structuring apparatus that the thing in itself, by definition, sits outside of. This isn't skepticism in the ordinary sense. Kant isn't saying we can't trust our senses about ships and harbors. Phenomenal knowledge for him is genuine, stable, shareable knowledge. Secured precisely because space-time and the categories are universal features of any mind like ours, not private quirks. What he's denying is something narrower and stranger, that we could ever step outside our own cognition apparatus to check it against a world untouched by that apparatus, the way Sorrell tried and failed to chart the ardent, with a truly instrument-free eye. The very idea of checking already presupposes the instrument you were trying to set aside. The distinction became one of the load-bearing walls of 19th and 20th century continental and Anglo-American philosophy alike, reworked by Hegel, radicalized by Schopenhauer's reading of the Noumena as will, and still argued over today in debates over whether Kant's thing in itself is a coherent concept at all, or a ladder we should kick away once we've climbed.